Hello everyone, welcome to this week's dance class. We are looking at our final week of Christian art. So you've looked at Islamic art, I'm now looking at Christian art. Last week we looked at the Last Supper, and this week we are going to look at three pieces of art which are really beautiful. I can't wait to show them to you. We're just going to quickly talk about them and take some movement ideas from those paintings, and then we're going to create our own dance phrase, and then you're going to create something as well. So it's a really lovely lesson. I'm really excited. I found some really beautiful music, very uplifting, so we can dance to that as well. So first of all, we're going to have a bit of a warm-up. In your space, wherever you are, I want you to break it into 4 bits. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 in the middle. When I say Leonardo, you're going to run to this side. That's Leonardo da Vinci, the Renaissance painter. Okay, so you're going to run to this side. Good. When I say Raphael, he's another Renaissance painter, you're going to run to the back of your room. Okay, and when I say Michelangelo, you're going to run to this side of your space. If you haven't got that much room, you can just reach. Okay, because I don't want you hurting yourself, so look around you, make sure you're not going to knock into anything. Okay, if you can, run, or like me, do little steps to each side. Okay, so we have Leonardo, we have Raphael, we have Michelangelo. I want to say Renaissance. Okay, that was this period of time where painters and philosophers just sort of exploded with their ideas, and they created some beautiful art and music and all kinds of things. So that's a whole nother topic. So when I say Renaissance, we're going to be lying on the floor, okay, in the middle of the room. Okay, or you can curl up in a ball, or you can kneel, but you have to be in the middle, okay, because that is where we need to be. So Leonardo, Raphael, Michelangelo, Renaissance, but I'm going to mix it up. Okay, so you've got to really listen. Okay, here we go. I'm going to go with Michelangelo. Okay, good. Raphael. Well done. Leonardo. And Leonardo. Good. Renaissance. Ah, you could do a little shape. Michelangelo. Okay. And Leonardo. Raphael. Renaissance. Good. Renaissance. Leonardo. And Raphael. And Renaissance. Good. Okay. Well done. So the next thing we're going to do is I am going to call out some Christian symbols. So I'm going to call out things like a cross, a fish, a candle, a dove, those kind of things. And I want you to show me your shape. Okay, it can be whatever you like. Okay, there's no, I mean, a cross is a cross. Do you remember we talked about this a few weeks ago? Okay, but it doesn't have to be standing up. We did a few on the side, didn't we? You could be lying down on the floor. Okay, so I'm going to call out, but we're going to play musical statues. So I want to see you dancing, okay, jumping around, and then I want to see a beautiful symbol when I call it out. Okay, so I'm going to mix them all up. Okay, this music has nothing to do with really what we're doing. It's just really fun, and I want you all to get moving and have a really fun time jumping around. Okay, but you have to freeze super still like you're made of marble. Okay, when I call out the shapes. Here we go. Ready? Okay. Here we go. Okay, show me a cross. Show me a cross. Super still. Beautiful. You can rise if you like, if you're on your feet. Lovely. Hold. Hold. Very nice. And keep dancing. Okay, show me a dove. Okay, the sign of peace. Okay, so I want to see a dove. Anything you like? Super still. Okay, hold that position. Well done. Okay, good. And keep going. Okay, show me a star. Okay, here we go. Can be a wide star. You can have a star on the floor. Nice wide star shining brightly. That's another Christian symbol. Good, really stretch. Well done, hold. Just because I'm moving, I'm doing the music. Ready, go. Keep moving. Anything you like? Get our fitness up. Okay, show me a fish. Show me a fish. Now, it's quite nice to do movement to this one, but if you can freeze, that would be great. Hold that fish shape. Well done. Good. Okay, well done. And last one. Right, big moves. Okay, and show me a candle. Okay, show me a candle. Okay, now it's quite tempting, isn't it? I'll have a little flame at the top. Good. So if you go into churches or temples or lots of religious places, actually, they often have candles burning, don't they? Good. Or a candle on the floor, like our pin shape, isn't it? One of our body actions, body shapes. Good. Well done. Okay. Right. So that's our little warm-up. Now I want to show you these 3 pieces of art that I have been looking at this week. This is really beautiful. So this first one is called The Creation of Adam, and this was created by Michelangelo in 1508 to 1512, so it actually took him a few years to paint it. So this is on the ceiling of one of the most religious buildings in the world, which is the Sistine Chapel. And this is in the Vatican City in Rome in Italy, and it's amazing. It's just huge, and it's on the ceiling. So it must have been really, really difficult to paint because he was kind of upside down almost, so he would have had scaffolding, but he was painting on the ceiling. So I don't know if you've ever painted a ceiling or done anything like that, but it's really hard looking up. So imagine that detail and painting like that. So this painting is the creation of Adam, who's the first man ever created on earth by God. So you can see the movement here, you can see the touch is very delicate between Adam and God. Can you see their fingers are just touching? And actually, if you look really closely, I don't know if they are actually touching. Can you see? So he's creating his first man on earth. It's very delicate, but at the same time, it's quite powerful because, you can see there's like lots of billowing robes. Can you see there's lots of movement, just like they're high up in the sky? And can you see this sort of movement as well, like things are being blown around? It's just like they're in the sky and he's down on earth, and you can see the green and the blue on earth. Now, some people think that this red cloud, or they call it a cloud or maybe a cloak, it looks like a human brain as well. So it's the first human thing that's being created, and that's sort of reflected in the painting, isn't it? So that's really, really lovely. What else can you see? Anything else? The colours. Can you see God's with his sort of angels, or whoever these people are here? You can see any shapes. Okay, any patterns, colours. It's very, very detailed. It'd be amazing to go and see it, wouldn't it? So that's our first painting. The second one is the Sistine Madonna, and this was painted by Raphael in 1512. Okay, and you can see here, this is the main picture here, and what I've done is I've cut out these 2 little characters down here, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. See, this is actually the main picture here. So this is painted by Raphael, who was a Renaissance painter in 1512. And it's a picture of Mary, or Madonna as she's known, carrying the Christ child floating on clouds. There are 2 saints worshipping them, called St. Sixtus and St. Barbara. So St. Sixtus is here, and this is St. Barbara here. Originally, the work was painted to be facing a cross or crucifix, and this explains why Jesus is looking frightened. Can you see his face here? He's actually looking really scared because he knows what's coming, because obviously he gets crucified later on in his life, doesn't he? And Mary is really scared as well, because obviously she sees the suffering of her son. And St. Sixtus is pointing to the crucifix. Can you see here? He's actually pointing forwards, so he's almost like pointing out of the picture, because this was going to be positioned near a cross. So looking at the bottom here, can you see these two cheeky cherubs? That's what they're called here, so like angels. And they're looking up, and I think they're really funny, because it's quite a serious picture, but they look quite cheeky. And do you think they look a bit bored? I don't know, it's quite funny, isn't it? It's really funny that he painted them in quite a serious sort of format, but at the same time, and they're looking a bit bored and a bit cheeky. So I think they're really funny. I like these two at the bottom. Okay, and our third one, this is called Salvator Mundi, and this was painted in 1500s. And this was painted by Leonardo da Vinci, another Renaissance painter. And it shows the Salvator Mundi, or the Saviour of the world. And it shows Jesus making the sign of the cross in his right hand, which we know is the symbol for Christianity. So it's just that slight crossing of the fingers here. And in his left hand, he's holding a crystal orb, which I didn't even see until I started looking closely. Can you see here? Look at this. Imagine painting that. Look, and obviously it's see-through because it's crystal. And it's got tiny little sparkles in it as well. And this represents the celestial sphere of the heavens. So that's the crystal orb. So he's crossing his right hand and he's holding a crystal orb in his other hand. Okay, now this painting is pretty amazing, because this was actually sold 3 years ago for £330.5 million. Can you imagine? Okay, so it's a really very, very expensive, beautiful piece, and people absolutely love this kind of work. It's very special. Okay, so looking back, so we have the creation of Adam. Okay, we have the Sistine Madonna, and we have the Salvator Mundi here. So which one do you like? What you can do is pause this and have a closer look if you can. Sorry, I'll try to hold it as still as I can. I like the colours in that one of his robe. This one's very dramatic. Look at the clouds, especially behind the cherubs at the bottom. And then this one is very flowing. I really like all of their robes flowing here. And he's down on the floor. Down on earth. So I looked at these three pictures and I thought we can definitely take from those pictures, like we did from the Last Supper last week. And what I thought I'm going to start off with is I'm going to look at the idea of the creation of Adam. And I like this pointing finger. So I'm going to do a turn. Okay, so I'm going to step on my right leg. So make sure you've got some space. And I'm going to turn up. And I'm going to lean back. And I'm going to point as if I'm pointing and touching God's finger. Do you remember? Or maybe I'm Adam, or maybe I'm God, I don't know, but we're going to try and touch fingers. And then because there were two of them, I'm going to do another turn this side and lean back and touch his finger again. So we're going on the diagonal. Okay, so this is the front, and we're going on the diagonal here. So can you try that? Do 2 turns. We're going to go turn and lean, and we're going to go turn. So not much space, but we can do a little turn here. Good. From here, I'm going to turn all the way to the floor. I'm going to look at the Sistine Madonna. I'm going to wrap my arms around as if I'm wrapping up a baby, wrapping up the baby Jesus, and I'm going to stand up and turn and lift him to the clouds up here. Okay, so turn to the ground, wrap him up. Good. Standing up and turning and unfolding up to the heavens. Thought that's quite a nice idea. Good. From here, our arms are going to stay up, and I love the idea of this crystal orb. So it's very beautiful and very fragile. And what we're going to do is our arms are going to stay up and we're going to catch it in our hands here, okay? And I love the idea of seeing the shape of it. So this perfect circle here. So we're going to do a perfect circle, and I thought we could pass it from one side to the other. Good. So we're going to go pass, 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 bring it back, show me the shape again, and I'm going to throw it up, and I'm going to finish there, and that's the end of the phrase. So I've got the three paintings. I've taken the point, I've taken the wrapping, and I've taken the crystal orb from each of those, from one of those things from each of the paintings. So let's try that again. So I'm going to start on my right leg, and point, and right leg, and point, turn, wrap, wrap, wrap. Good, stand, turn up to the clouds, up to heaven. Good, keep your arms up there, but catch the orb. Show me the circle, very fragile. Good, and then pass it from one hand to the other. Good, and then show me the ball again. And then I'm going to bend our knees and throw it up, and it's gone forever. So that can be our ending position, looking up. Okay, so let's try that with some music. I'll find some really beautiful music. Let's try. Here we go. Okay, so start with the turn. Here we go. Okay, so what did you think? How did you get on? Could you really picture the paintings in your head? I always try to picture what we've been looking at, and it helps me move, I think, a little bit better. So what I want you to do now is, looking back at these pictures, I want you to come up with your own, taking a point or something different from each of these pictures to create your own phrase. So you might look at this billowing cloak here, or the red cloud, people call it different things, that looks like a brain. Or maybe you could have a look at something being high and something being low. So we've got the heavens and the earth. Okay, maybe in this one you look at these two cheeky little chaps here. Okay, so maybe you could do something with wings. I don't want you to be a character. I don't want you to pretend to be a cherub. But you could look at their characteristics. So look at their wings, look at the clouds, look at, again, the billowing cloaks. Okay, the worry on their faces. Okay, and this one, maybe instead of looking at the crystal orb, you could look at the cross of the fingers, and actually look, he's got a cross here of his sort of tunic or cloak that he's wearing as well. And this one's cool because it's completely dark, so it's like he's coming from the darkness into the light. Again, or you could look at the crystal orb and that idea of circles. Okay, so have a think. You can pause this to look at the pictures in a little bit more detail. Again, I want to take one point from the creation of Adam, the Sistine Madonna, and the Salvator Mundi, and come up with your own phrase. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll come back together, and I'm going to perform mine twice, and then you can perform yours, and I'll leave the music running a little bit so you can carry on, because all our phrases might be slightly different length. Okay, so pause me. Okay, and now you've come back. Hopefully you've got your phrase together. It's always good if you want to write it down, that's fine as well, to see what you've done, and we'll practice with the music a couple of times, okay? So let's go. Okay. So I'm going to do mine, you show me yours. Here we go. Okay, hopefully that gave you enough music to go through that a few times. Good, well done. I wish I could see them, I bet they look amazing. It's quite emotive music, isn't it? It's very celestial and makes you think of heavens and gods and things like that. And that's really good because when we dance, that's what we want to be thinking about. So with the music and the movement and the paintings, it's a beautiful combination to make something really lovely in dance. So now, last thing, we're going to look at your phrases that you've done, but I want you to think about how you're performing them. Okay, so just because the music's slow, it doesn't mean we have to move slowly all the time. So I've got some movements in my phrase, like the ball phrase, the crystal orb. I'm going to throw it up. I want that to be quite sharp. Okay, when I do my turns, it's slowish, but not super slow. Okay, so it's quite, I'm trying to use a lot of space when I do those. So think about your speeds. We've done a lot about speeds, haven't we? So think about which bits are fast, which bits are slow, okay? And think about maybe some positions and some shapes that you're going to hold so we could see, like when I do my turn, and I'm going to hold that position, and I want people to see what that, so if they looked at those three paintings, they'd know that I was doing the creation of Adam because of that point-to-point finger. So have a think, what do you want people to see? And what you can do if you're with other people, maybe they could watch you and you could watch them as well. That would be lovely. And maybe they could try and work out which bits you're performing from which paintings. Okay, so we're just going to perform it once more, okay, with the music, and have those things in mind. If you need to pause me, go away and practice the speeds and the idea of holding some of those shapes, you can do that as well. Okay, if you're ready, let's try that with music just once through. Here we go. What we're going to do now, well done, I bet they looked amazing. I hope that was enough music and time. What we're going to do now is we're going to try our balloon breathing. Okay, I'm going to keep the music on. I'm going to breathe in, and as we breathe in, we get bigger. And then we imagine someone coming along, popping us, and then we're going to get smaller again. Okay, but I'm going to do it with the music, so you can imagine the music filling you up inside. Ready? breathing out. Last time. Good. Pop. Well done. Well, thank you so much for dancing with me over these last few weeks. I hope you've managed to experience Islamic art and Christian art in a different way through dance and movement and music as well. And like with all these things, you start looking at pictures and hearing music, like I said, creating dance, and it brings everything together, which makes art lovely, really, doesn't it? We can make it very exciting. So thank you very much, and I will see you soon.